Good evening, folks. I am back. So I have absolutely nothing to report on Sophie Cunningham's MRI. There are no results yet. Nobody really knows what time she was scheduled to have this thing. Sometimes when you're an athlete, you get a diagnosis immediately, but usually you don't get a verdict on the injury the same day. So I have seen nothing out there. I've gone searching for it. And look, guys, I don't see intent. Okay. I've now gone back and looked another dozen times at this video. This is what I see. All right. First, let me preface what I see by what I know about Bree Hartley. I know her reputation. I know she pulled Angel Reese's hair. I know she's been ejected from a game. And none of that means that what happened yesterday in the middle of a basketball game was intentional. Every incident has to be looked at as an individual incident. It's not that you can take someone who has a bad reputation and make them guilty based on a bad reputation. If that were the case, I don't even want to go into it, okay? I don't even want to go into it because I don't want to politicize this thing. But what I'm saying is that I've watched this video now almost 30 times. 30 times, okay? I don't see it. And other people, I'm not alone in this, as someone told me. A lot of other people don't see any intent there. I will tell you what I see. I see a not very skilled basketball player, perhaps. Someone who is more of a bull in a china shop. Somebody who doesn't have a lot of elite movement to the basket, but requires and uses her sheer energy to get her there. Someone who maybe puts their shoulder down looking for a foul to be called. What I saw was a girl who could not control her momentum. All right. And I watched Sophie Cunningham move her foot in various directions. But the fact of the matter is that Hartley fell on top of Sophie Cunningham. I did not see a deliberate takeout. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As hard as I tried, I did not see this girl, who was not a very skilled basketball player, twist herself in midair so that she could then injure and take out Sophie Cunningham. I did not see that. I'm very sorry. Okay. And part of life is agreeing to disagree. All right. So I'm agreeing to disagree. Okay. Everybody can have whatever viewpoint that they want. I've had my say. I'm not going to address any more comments. I'm good. Okay. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about is, when I was talking maybe a day ago about the fact that the Indiana Fever Basketball Club has shown resilience over the season, and they have, okay? I got a comment back from somebody that they didn't want to see resilience. They wanted to see skill. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, but you see plenty of skill, okay? And when you're faced with multiple injuries, I mean, for example, basically the entire God squad, okay? Caitlin Clark, okay? Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, all down with injury. All right, leaving you with no point guard except the guard you're hiring as a hardship case. All right? When you are facing that, it takes more than skill to get you through when you're in the postseason chase for a playoff berth. And they still are, in spite of all of this. Okay? Resilience is, the most important asset an athlete can have. And by the way, resilience is an important asset to have just in life in general, because life, like sports, is a series of ups and downs. And you're either going to fold to it or you're going to push through it. So the notion that everything is just based on skill is, frankly, bullshit. Okay? And I take great umbrage at people who can't give this Fever team credit for being where they are right now. That takes resilience. And yesterday's win to come back from 21 points takes resilience. Okay? And I'll tell you another thing. Comments out there that, Stephanie White hates Caitlin Clark because all she can do is praise Kelsey Mitchell. Well, guess what? Yesterday, not only did Sophie Cunningham, in the middle of her injury, praise Kelsey Mitchell, but so did Caitlin Clark. This team doesn't have a problem in the locker room. All of this nonsense is created by the talking heads on YouTube who like to foster that belief, and then the fans latch onto that and blow it up. I will say this again. Toxic, toxic, toxic is what I see mostly on social media and on YouTube. People love toxicity. Americans love toxicity. Because why? Because it gives them something to talk about. It gives the people who have YouTube channels chance to grow their numbers. Okay, well, I'm not interested in that. Okay, I'm not interested in doing that, and I'm not going to indulge in that. I have said it before, and I will say it again. I give my opinion, and I do sometimes speculate, but I'm always telling you that I'm speculating here, and I'm giving you my opinion. It is not based on any kind of fact when I tell you it's not, okay? So I am not, going to indulge in all of this. I mean, I looked at the headlines before I came on here. I have a headache looking at these people. I really do. I don't know how they can keep up doing what they're doing, because it must take a great deal of work to make this crap up. Okay? It must. Now, thirdly, I'm speculating here, but so are a lot of other people, and not the YouTubers. The Indiana Fever released Kyra Lambert today, and that means they're getting closer to full strength. And I personally believe that means that Caitlin Clark is on the mend and returning. Okay. I don't think it's because Sophie Cunningham is coming back. I from everything I've looked at, of all of the things she could possibly have for an injury, and I've read this, okay, I don't know what her injury is. It's anywhere from 3 weeks to months. So I'm really worried about the whole Sophie Cunningham injury on the whole, okay? And honestly, I hope the doctor that I had the video on this afternoon is absolutely right about the ACL, that it's not that's not high on his list of what could possibly have happened. But even a knee sprain takes weeks to come back from. It's not like it's day to day. It's not. So what I'm saying is they released Kyra Lambert today, and I think Caitlin Clark will be in practice and will be back before the end of the season. We know the season doesn't end until September 9th. The playoffs do not begin until September 14th. I think Caitlin Clark will have regular season games under her belt before the playoffs. So while I can't say anything definitive about when she's coming back, the overall feeling out there in the sports world is it is on or around August 26th. So we will see how that works out, but certainly releasing a player means there's some kind of movement going on in the organization. All right? That's that. And then I have a couple of kind of fun things I found that I want to share with you. Now, one of them is a video from clearly when Caitlin Clark was in college of a coach named Kim Mulkey, who I've actually watched LSU on the college level play basketball. She is the coach of LSU. And this video is a post-game interview she did. And she talks about Caitlin Clark. And I thought it was pretty indicative exactly of just what Caitlin Clark brings to the table as far as basketball is concerned. So I'm going to play this one for you.
in terms of how you wanted to defend Caitlin Clark. And then also just wondering, it seemed like you had a long embrace and some kind words for her after the game in the handshake line. Just wondering if you wanted to share what those were.
Well, there's not a whole lot of strategy. You got to guard her. Nobody else seems to be able to guard her. We didn't even guard her last year when we beat them. She's just a generational player, and she just makes everybody around her better. That's what the great ones do. I think they had a kid that scored 21 and 18. She had 12 assists. Caitlin Clark's not going to beat you by herself. It's what she does to make those other teammates better that helps her score points and them score points to beat you. What did I say to her? I said, I sure am glad you leaving. I said, girl, you something else. Never seen anything like it.
What went into the stretch?
So that's that. Never seen anything like it. And that is the way I feel about Caitlin Clark as a basketball player as well, both on the college level and in the pros so far. Okay. And I have said this before. Caitlin Clark is a babe in the woods. She's been in the league. This is her second year. She's missed most of this year. She's got a lot of growing to do. She's got a lot of adjusting to do to the pro game. She came in and she had a rough time in the first half of her first season. Nobody can deny that. But she put it all together by the half, by the mid-season mark. Okay? And she started out this season gangbusters. First 5 games, a triple-double and 2 double-doubles. Had she not been hampered by injuries, Caitlin Clark would be off the charts right now. I believe that more records would have fallen. But you know what? Just because she's had this injury-riddled season, it doesn't mean that the rest of her career is demolished now. I mean, there are going to be times when she's injured. This is not the only time, okay? This is the pros now, okay? This is a different ball game. And Caitlin Clark is the first to tell you that she's still learning. And yes, Caitlin Clark does need to learn how to play off the ball, because ultimately that's going to open up her game for her. Now, do I think she should be used as a small forward all the time? Absolutely not. She's not a small forward. But playing off the ball is part of a basic thing in the NBA. Moving without the ball is a basic tenet of basketball. And I think she would agree with that. So I'm just saying, Caitlin Clark has got so much to show us. She's going to be in her prime for the next 10 years. And we are going to have a great show to watch. So now, and I'm sure you guys know this if you follow Caitlin Clark, but she played 1 year of soccer. Okay? And as a freshman, she was crazy. All right? And her father, basically said that he's not really bragging and talking out of turn when he says that she could have been as good in soccer as she is in basketball had she chosen to follow that path. And Caitlin Clark herself credits her ability to see the floor in basketball to what she learned playing that 1 year in soccer. So I have a little video here that I found on TikTok that I want to share with you about Caitlin Clark, the soccer player.
Yes, she's also better than you at soccer. So she only played soccer up until her freshman year of high school, where she had 23 goals and 3 assists in just 13 games. That's a grand total of 49 points on the season, and she was the only freshman named to the All-State team that year. And in case you were wondering if she played soccer like she played basketball, this is a conversation that she had with one of her coaches. Hey, she asked, can I just shoot it from the kickoff? Moffitt, who by this point understood and fostered what he called Clark's maverick approach, told her, do whatever you think. The ball rocketed off Clark's right foot. The goalkeeper, not expecting such a brash attempt, tried to scramble backward but had no chance. The ball descended artfully below the crossbar and dove into the back of the net, tying the match at 1-1. Clark postured at midfield similarly to how she does after her frequent incredible Hawkeye basketball moments. Her dad also said, "I'm not trying to brag about it, but I think she probably could have been the same sort of talent in soccer that she is in basketball." One of her coaches confirmed this by saying she was D1 material in soccer, easily. Listen, some people are just allergic to this game called life that we're all playing, and Caitlin Clark is one of those people. Caitlin Clark's
So there you have it. I thought that was kind of cool. And I wanted to put that in. And for those of you who want to watch that again, I'm one of those people. I'm going to put it I'll put a link into the description of the video. One other thing I wanted to address is about the officiating. So what I have learned doing some investigation is that whatever agreement the WNBA has on the whole official thing is done through the National Basketball Referees Association, okay? This union represents the NBA, the G League, I don't know what that is actually, and the WNBA. They have an agreement in place that will run through the 2027 season. Now, Kathy Engelbert has heard numerous complaints from not only the players, and they sing the players that were mentioned in the article that I will put in this video. I mean, yeah, they'll put in the description of the video. The two players who have been most vocal were indeed Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum, although others have complained, Aaliyah Boston most recently. And there are coaches who are now speaking out. Stephanie White is definitely one of them, which is why I say that in yesterday's game, had she thought anything was done intentionally, Stephanie White would have said something. She has in the past, okay? The other person is Natalie Nakasi of the Valkyries, who is a coach who has spoken about how bad the referee situation is in the WNBA. What has to happen, I believe, and I'm going to say this, and I know I've said it before, is the fans have to weigh in. The fans have to be heard. I mean, we are the people who watch the games. We are the people who buy merchandise. We are the people who pay to see the games on television. We are the people who pay money to get into the games. And we need a voice. And we need to use our voice. And I'm going to tell you that as much as people complain, the petition is stalled at 465 signatures. That's nothing, okay? And it doesn't matter if you don't live in the United States, okay? This is an international sport. Caitlin Clark has as many fans overseas as she does in the U.S. So I'm going to continue to post this video in groups. But the thing we have to understand is you got to keep posting and posting and posting over and over and over again. I'm also trying to post them in the comments of videos of other people who make videos about the WNBA on YouTube. But we need to be heard. You know, another thing that can be done is there is a line that you can call to voice your opinion and make commentary. I'm not saying you're going to hear back from them, but maybe that's something you guys can do. I will put that phone number in the body of this video. And as soon as, you know, we can start making our voice heard, and with the continued comments from the players and the coaches, we can get this changed. We can get this turned around. I still believe that the referee should not be hired on a per game basis. Their pay is low compared to what the NBA referees get. The NBA referees report to the NBA, okay? The WNBA referees are freelancers. They're what we call freelancers. So yes, technically they're supposed to adhere to things, but it's a little different than actually reporting to the league. So I believe that we have to push for the referees to become part of the WNBA, be on their payroll as employees, not as contractors. Okay? I used to hire contractors when I worked in my previous life in advertising and public relations, and it's different when you have somebody who is your employee versus a contractor. Okay? There's a big difference. It requires you have to manage a contractor much tighter than you do an employee. So I believe that the referee should be part of the WNBA employment system. And I believe they should be subject to review and scrutiny much more than they are. According to Kathy Engelbert, every play is reviewed, and there are ramifications. All right? But there are still far too many missed calls just on general fouls, and the games are still subject to getting out of control. Okay, that game where Sophie Cunningham finally took down J.C. Shelton, which was a thing of beauty, I might add. That game was completely, the referees completely lost control of that game. And that's happened several times, not just with the Indiana Fever either, in other games. So that's all I've got for tonight. You know, it's a mixed bag. I will be back tomorrow. I am going to work in the morning, but I'm out in the afternoon, and I plan on making a video as soon as I get home. In the meantime, you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you all soon.